through the ranks, did all my technical skills and all those things back then, and then grew into management and just worked my way to vice president. Originally from Jersey, went to school at Rutgers, and then moved to California during the dot-com boom, and then worked my way down here for a data center transition position.
Hey. Yes. Okay. And again, thank you both for being here again. And Isa, thank you for coming and meeting with students. Okay, so I have questions, all right?
Yes. We'll run the mic, right?
Yeah, you can run the mic.
Okay.
I mean, if we have more questions, so we're gonna start out with some of these, right? And then
Are you handing
we
that
have
to me?
people that have questions in the audience as we go. Just pop your hand up. We want to bring a mic to you because we are streaming this, so if there's anyone out in the audience, we want them to be able to hear your question. Okay, what time does your day start? So what are your shifts like?
My day starts at 3 a.m. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We work 12-hour shifts. We have both a day and a night shift. I work the day shift, so I start at 6 a.m. The night shift starts at 6 p.m.
So 6 to 6.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, the hours are 6 to 6. I don't know how widespread that is across the data center industry, but here at Microsoft, we work 12 hours.
Yeah. So,
3 days. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is. So it's not projecting out, it's just letting people on the stream hear you.
Gotcha. So
Is
at
it on?
QTS, we actually.
That was the question, is it on, not whether or not it's.
So at QTS, we have 24-hour shifts, obviously, just like Microsoft. So we actually have a number of different shifts. We have guys work, folks work, not just guys. But you do three 12s and 4 12s the next week. We have, start at 6 to 6. There's just different shifts throughout. So a lot of times you align that with your work and life experience, right? If you have kids at home, sometimes you don't want the morning shifts. So we have first, second, and third shift, weekend work, nights, project work. There's a lot of different shifts. So we're very flexible. You have to think about the fact that we've got a campus of, even in some cases, a dozen data centers on a campus. So there's a lot of opportunities to do flexible type of work for the technicians' positions.
So can I add something to that? You said that you've got other locations, other states. So is there opportunity for people to go to other states to work?
Yeah, we have, I guess specifically Microsoft has places across the country. I think Arizona's newer, so we're starting to grow here, and we have a lot of projected growth here. So, but we do have places across the U.S. that would have data centers.
Yeah, well, not only does Microsoft have data centers of their own, they actually lease data centers from us operators. So you can actually have a data center that has the QTS or Cyrus One or Vantage logo on it, but it's actually a Microsoft data center. So there's just a lot of different sharing amongst, different industry people around data center spaces. So they lease spaces from us, like every other company leases spaces from us. Google, Amazon, as well as even small mom and pop companies lease within our operators. For us, we have data centers throughout the country. Microsoft has data centers throughout the world even. So you're going to find that there's data centers in every metropolitan area, and there's big, large campuses in some of the big hyperscale markets is what we call it. And Arizona is becoming one of those.
Any questions to add on to this? Okay, so let's see. Our next question is, how many hours a week do you work? So we kind of covered that, right?
70.
If you're the vice president.
Yeah, I travel. Yeah.
You're the vice president.
So I'm traveling tomorrow. Tomorrow night I'm catching a red eye to New York City and coming back Saturday morning. So it shows you the level of, just technology products and what we're doing, projects we're working on in New York City, coming back, and my guys are going to be up there. They just got there today. So just the commitment level, it never stops. You guys don't stop using your phone, and that's where the internet lives within our data center. So there's never. I'm going to move here. Adios, kicking me out. No, it's all right. That's all right. I'm just an old guy here, but there's no stop. There's no time that we're not working. So there's always something going on. So good deal.
Can I add on to that? I just want to add specifically that we work a short week and a long week. So your short week is looking like 36 hours, and then your long week is more like 48. So in total per pay period, about 84, barring any overtime. 84 is the typical work week.
All right, and then Adiel just got here. So Adiel, will you introduce yourself? Adiel is a data center technician with Cyrus One. And
Okay. So hello guys, my name is Adiel. I'm currently a service delivery technician at Cyrus One. I was a former AFCOM intern. They provided me the position and the ability to work with Cyrus One, and I was able to work with them for a few months, and now I'm working full time with them.
Yeah, Cyrus One is a competitor of ours, QTS, but it's a data center company just like we are. So it's one of those things, we all work well together. And what he was referring to as AFCOM is, that's our industry trade organization. So I was just with Ariel out in Washington, D.C. I spoke at a panel in Washington, D.C., and you were there, and you actually spoke.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Actually spoke. It was actually awesome, right? So we actually talked about the things that are going on in Arizona. This is going to be the #2 data center market in the country. So we are growing that quickly. So we were there representing Phoenix and Arizona and talking about workforce development and all the great things we're doing down here and how do we start to drive more people into the industry. And he's at exactly what we want. This group is exactly what we're looking for. Young, energetic, smart people with attitude and aptitude. I'm sorry. I don't want to keep promoting it. I'm trying to get people hired. So I'm trying to get people jobs because we need them. So we're just trying to get people in the industry just like this. So he had a great internship. He's working with some of the other folks that work with me from different organizations. And we got him over at Cyrus One, which has just been awesome for him. So it's a great career that you have. And now it's just great that you can speak about it at events like that. So, so just thank you for that last week.
So, and I want to add something of what you just said. So what Brian just said is that companies are looking for people with
attitude and aptitude.
Yeah, attitude and aptitude. And that's true for all companies, right? We're talking about the data centers, but that's true for any company for the most part. No one's out there saying, yeah, I want to hire some duds, right? They're not, that's not what they're looking for, so.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so let's see. Now I'm giving it away. Okay. Do you move around for work? Like, do you go to different locations, different buildings, different offices? Are you stationary? Because I think the next question kind of goes along with that. Like, are you at a desk all day? And along with that, can you answer about like remote work, working from home? Because I hear, I just want to work from home. Okay. So.
Whoa. Well, for me, I start my day at 10 a.m. I'm more of the afternoon shift type of guys. So I start from 10 and I end my day at 6:30. How many hours a week do I work? I work, I'd say about 40 to 42 hours, depending, a week. And there's a lot of overtime available. Specifically at Cyrus One, we have a lot of projects, especially during this time of the year where a lot of customers and clients come in. Cyrus One, I would consider as like a leaser for a lot of companies. A lot of companies like to borrow space instead of building their own data centers, and Cyrus One allows them to get that space. And so a lot of clients come in, and so they have to fit in, and we usually take in their shipments. A lot of racks come in from clients and a lot of shipment. And so during this time of the year, we're pretty busy. So to answer that next question, I'm really not at a desk all day. I'm like on my desk for like an hour, and I'm really just moving from one building to another, because in Cyrus One we have like 5 buildings. I don't know if you know the exact acre of that campus, but I don't know. It's a really huge campus, and so I'm in a golf cart all day, just going from one building to another. Usually during the end of the day or during my lunch, I'm entering tickets or updating client requests. And so that's really usually my whole day.
So let us pull on that thread real quick, just to make sure everybody's understanding what he means. So when you when you say you are unloading things for customers, tell everybody exactly what you mean. Like, so Cyrus One and all of us data center operators have IT equipment that we install for the customer at the sites. But talk a little bit about that exactly, so it ties into specifically what they're doing. The Cisco gear, the switches, routers, network components, all that comes in on a rack. And what do you do with that?
So essentially, every day shipment comes in for our company, and that goes from either servers to hard drives and small boxes, and a lot of the things that we learned here in this class. And I was a former student here as well. As a network administrator, we touch a lot on routers and switches, and that's a lot of the stuff that comes into the data center. And most of that stuff we don't really touch, because that's stuff that they touch. It's not really our stuff, but we do a lot of racks. We have these services called white gloves, where drivers and companies come in and do a request for a client, which they bring in these, like, I'd say 2,000-pound racks full of just gear.
So very similar to what you see there, right?
Basically that. They bring in those racks like every day. I'd say like fully populated 10 to like 12 racks every day. I can't give out the client name because that's against our rules, but we have a client bringing in like 75 racks a day, and it's just a bunch of those full of servers and routers and switches, and it's pretty amazing.
And then you do the cabling?
And yeah, I help out our Tech 2s with cabling. We do a lot of cable pulls. We go under the ground and we pull cables from one designated area to another. We do a lot of things called cross connects, where we help create private connections with ISPs to the client. We do a lot of some of our Tech 2s do splicing. I haven't touched any of that yet, but they do a lot of splicing, terminating cables, and all that kind of stuff.
Mostly fiber?
Right.
Yeah,
Fiber.
mostly fiber.
Right, so it's going to be single mode or multi-mode fiber, and that's where the splicing comes in. Was that your question? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so splicing.
Yeah.
So it could be some Cat5, which I'm sure you're going away
But
with.
mostly
just like
fiber,
us,
yes.
But mostly fiber. So we use single mode fiber between all the devices. And cross connects really just means how you get out to the rest of the world. So all those umbilicals and your connections getting out to other ISPs and carriers. And that's what we call our connectivity pieces. That's what I lead for organizations. So it's all those things to get you out to the rest of the world. Good deal. Thank you.
Oh, you guys have a mic?
I got one. So we are not like permanent technicians at our data centers. We are considered mobile technicians. So we go wherever we need support. So it might not be the same place we go every day. We typically also are not at our desk. We're out in the production area doing our tasks for most of the day. We might be at our desk for like meetings or if we need a break, but we're typically in the production space doing our work.
Yeah, I agree.
How hot do the data centers get in like temperatures and degrees?
Very hot.
So you shouldn't get very hot, but I think you have what you call hot aisle and cold aisle.
Yeah.
So you actually have cooling that comes through the floor. Cooling that comes through the floor that goes into the servers in the front and expels hot air out the back and goes out of an intake. So there's an actual method in the way in which we cool the system. So it's really not very hot. You're going to see that most data centers are somewhere around the 70-degree mark or somewhere close to that. And we actually, in Arizona, sometimes you have to pump in humidity at certain paces because you want to make sure you get the right humidity. So it's because we're a very arid environment.
There was one time where I was working in a cage build and I had to help out on the hot aisle side. And so it was like a 3-hour project, and I was definitely sweating. When you're there for a long time, yes, it can get pretty hot, but that's usually how it works: cold aisle, hot aisle containers.
Any other questions?
Okay, so let's see. Do you like your job?
Do you want to? I personally really like my job. I like being hands-on. I don't particularly like being at a desk all day. So I like to be moving. I like to be doing things with my hands and like interacting with other people. So I quite enjoy my job.
Yeah. I agree with what Issa said. I think that's the best part, being able to collaborate with all your coworkers and know that you're serving the global community. The work that you do supplies everybody with the resources that they need. That fulfills me, and this part is a little bit biased, but the company I work for also makes working a little bit better. They provide everything we need as far as benefits and everything. So I would say I love my job. I wouldn't trade it for anything else right now.
So it's more of a career and not just a job, right?
Definitely. Yeah, and with what Ryan said, I plan to be here for a long time. I don't see myself going anywhere. I started a career here, and I want to pursue it and follow it through. So
And with that
that's
career comes benefits,
right.
overtime, 401k, dental, measure, all those things that go with it, right? I know I'm loud enough, but I need to. So just want to make sure we're clear. This isn't a job; it's a career, and those are the things that go with that. Those are the things you could raise a family on. Those are the structures we have at these organizations are really what you're looking for. So.
Oh, and just another point. It's a career that can lead to other careers. From what I studied here, I did networking, but over there you can delve into mechanical or electrical and a lot of different things that you could learn about data centers that can really come in handy when looking out there in the job field when people need to hire like a data center technician. Oh, you know HVAC? Oh, you know how cooling and heating works? You know, that type of stuff.
Last comment. We've actually hired people in sales We've brought data center technicians in that have gone into sales. We brought them into marketing. I hire them in my department all the time. So I steal them from my connectivity team. So we do the connectivity all the time. So I need guys that are knowledgeable of the data center. They're good with running cross connects. They understand how things work. I steal them all the time to come over and help me. So it's really one of those things where once you get into a good organization, and it just isn't about data centers. Once you get into a good organization, you can typically move around. If you got attitude and aptitude, you're good at what you do, you work hard, you're tenacious, you can move around. People are going to want to see you move around. And we can train you on a lot of things. But we've had people, again, go into sales. We've had them go into infrastructure, electrical, mechanical. They've gone into so many different parts of the business because you find smart people that want to work hard, learn quickly. You can do a lot of different things. But it's a starting place for you, and it gives you a career and a place to kind of land.
Yes.
You have a question?
I was wondering if you know of any books or online resources that we could use to learn more about this stuff aside from what we could learn in college classes.
Yeah, I do. There's actually a person who wrote a book about data centers. Her name is Carrie Goetz, and I'll put that on the, well, I think it's Goetz.
TZ?
Yeah, Goetz.
G-O-E-T-Z. And it was
It's
what?
Carrie
K or C?
C. And she actually wrote a book on data centers. And she actually wrote a book about how we operate, what we do, how we get people into the industry. And she's going to be speaking. I actually asked her to speak at one of our classes. We're going to be teaching an intro to data center class. And she's going at Straya, and we're also going to do it at Mesa. And she's actually going to be one of our guest speakers. But she wrote a book on data centers. I think I spelled that right, but you'll find it if you just search it. But she's actually really awesome around that. I think there's some other publications and other information you can go. You can go to AFCOM's website, iMasons, those are our trade organizations. So there's a lot of different ways to get information. There's other programs out there, but she's actually wrote a great book. I think she's a great advocate for our industry and talks a lot about getting young people into our industry.
So you guys mentioned the collaboration piece of your job. I just kind of want to dive into that a little bit more. So is that, as far as collaboration goes, is that like client facing, or how are you guys interacting with other teams? Like, do you just get to talk with your coworkers and as you're doing things, or like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so as far as client facing, we are not directly client facing. We work with the hardware that the client uses, or we work with the hardware that houses the client's resources. But when it comes to collaboration, we work with a bunch of other teams that all gather around the data center. The data center is the big warehouse, I guess you could say, for all of these services, for all these different teams and customers. So whenever they need capacity, they come to us. So we get to collaborate with all of the different organizations within our companies.
And I would probably say at the operator level, our technicians collaborate with customers all the time. So your customers sometimes are external customers that are outside, that not work at the company you're with, and you have internal customers. So we actually have other departments that have resources that we have to support as well. So there's kind of external customers, internal customers, but a lot of times the DCO techs that we have, and I'm sure it's the same way with you, you collaborate with those customers all the time. So customers will reach out to you directly via either a phone or via a ticket system. So we use ServiceNow as our ticketing system, and that's how they make requests for you to do something. So if a server is having an issue, a router is having a problem, you'll do a reboot or whatever you need to do, a cross connect or something like that. It'll come through a ticket. So you'll engage with them through written. Sometimes it's through phone calls and conference calls, and sometimes they'll come on site. So there's a lot of different ways.
Also to add on that, for my company specifically, we have a lot of teams and departments. For us, we're in service delivery. We handle most of the shipping and most of the client first-hand requests, and we also have a facility team which they handle more of like the heating and cooling, the generators and stuff like that. And usually we collaborate. Whenever a customer comes to a facilities person and asks for a package or a shipment, they come to us. Vice versa, when they ask for like their cage not cooling right or heating right, they go to facilities. And so there's just different departments and teams that collaborate with each other in that aspect.
So I'm going to direct it, add something to this. Naeem, you said the benefits.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I think you might have been talking about benefits like 401k and medical and things like that, but also I've heard you talk about culture,
Yes.
the Microsoft culture. And so I'm wondering if maybe you and Isa, and then if you could, Adiel, talk about CyrusOne, like the culture, because Naeem, you've said that's a benefit, the culture that Microsoft really facilitates and encourages. So maybe you all could talk about the culture at your companies.
Definitely. You want me to start, Reese? Yeah, so our culture is based on three main pillars. That's accountability, integrity, and respect. And we really offer that in all of our interactions and whoever we come across. You can come into Microsoft knowing that you have people there that are willing to help you, assist you, and make sure that you have everything that you need to keep going forward. We're kind to each other. We respect each other at all times. And one of my favorite parts about it is I was talking to my team about this the other day, but you could go to anybody in any organization within Microsoft, and you know that because of our culture, because it's so strong and profound, you know what type of interaction you'll get with anybody, even somebody that you haven't met before. But we come in, we don't expect people to come in and know everything. We expect you to learn it from your teammates and from management. And that's the best part about it. You don't have any super high expectations. You can come in and be yourself in a place that's very supportive of you. And that's my favorite part about it.
I guess the only thing I would add on is, yeah, we are very big on like collaborating. We want to learn from each other. You might come in with no IT experience, but that's okay. We want to grow together, and we want to teach each other new things and go. We're all going the same direction, so we're not going to like single people out or anything like that. We want us all to be kind of on the same page, growing together, not working against each other.
Oh, yeah, just to add on what they said, a lot of engagement is important too. A lot of our employees there come from different backgrounds. At first, for me, it was a little intimidating because all of my coworkers are ex-military, and they have their way of speaking and their references. But they're very inclusive with everybody there. The community there is very well mannered. Everybody likes to accept one another. We have meetings every week. And bi-weekly as well, just talking about our needs and necessities in every department, what we can do to improve the team, any mistakes that we can clarify and that we can improve on, and so forth.
Yeah. So we force in collaboration. We love collaboration. We love to talk about it, solve problems, and learn from the things that we've made mistakes on. So I have team calls all day, every day, too many of them. And I tell my guys all the time, I don't mean that in a male way, but just the people on my team, the people on my team. So I tell them, be bold, move fast, and solve problems. So be bold, move fast, and solve problems. And that's what we do. And so when there's something that comes up, there's an issue that happens, that's what we think about, that's how we move, and we do it together. So there's nothing like getting a project done together. It was 11:30 last night. We cut over 3 circuits. I had a guy home working, a person. Well, he's a guy, so he was home working. He drove into the data center last night here in Phoenix and fixed what we needed because he knew we needed to move, be bold, move fast, and solve problems. And our technician was in Romania. We had other guys in 3 other states, and we needed that circuit to be cut over. So he had to roll those cables, change out that fiber, make sure that worked for us, and he did that last night. So when we came in this morning, all you saw was kudos to him, shout outs to him for what he did to make that happen. And that's the kind of team you start to create. That's the culture you create. Be bold, move fast, and solve problems.
So Isa, as a woman in the field and as a woman in the data center, how do you feel? I mean, what can you talk about as it relates to being, I'm assuming a minority as far as women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just talk about that? And then I would like everyone to address that too. And like, what is being done? Is it being talked about? Like how to change that gap and how to bring diversity, women into the field, right? Because I really want women to feel welcomed into the field, that there is going to be a place for you, right? That's something that I know we're working to change, like through the education at Brian's level, but like what is happening? What's really happening?
Yeah, the ratio of women to men is very different. But I've gotten to work with a lot of like our newer techs that happen to be women, and I get to talk with them and train them and kind of build their confidence, because it is a little intimidating when your shift is 12 hours long and you're working around men all the time. But there is a different way of thinking, and we do bring to the table that perspective. So it's not like, let's see, how do I say it? The people I work with are always very encouraging. When I don't know something, they're encouraging to me. They don't let me talk down about myself. They just give me the tools to help build myself up, because we are fully capable of doing it as well. We just bring a different perspective. We have been a little luckier in getting some women in the field, but I think that's mostly what we're looking towards, is to recruit more women, because we are fully capable. Just because the work I do is very hard doesn't mean we can't do it. We can do it just like they can. We can provide different insight and different suggestions on how we solve things. So it's changing, and I like it. I'm happy to have more women join us. So I look forward to it.
Well, I can't really say the same for our team. It's just full of men, but but that's a very strong point that she mentioned, to be inclusive. I attended Data Center World last week, and one of their main focuses was to bring about that shift in women in this industry. And they had about, like, I'd say the first day of that whole conference was dedicated to conferences and sessions about women and how their impact can be in this industry.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add on that, yes, I agree that we definitely need more women in our workplace. But I think what it comes down to answer your question, Andrea, about how do we address that and how do we try to fix that? I think it's about us having growth mindset. As people, we need to have a growth mindset and be inclusive, as everyone said, but actually combat the bias that we may not even know that we have. Microsoft does a great job of providing trainings for us to isolate some of those biases, because we live our day-to-day lives and we often don't think about how we approach things or how other people can perceive the way that we go about our days. But that it needs work, and I'm grateful that we have more women joining our team, because it adds a kind of robustness and fullness to our teams that I think we desperately need. So I just, like everybody else, encourage all the women in here, if you're interested, please apply. You joining our team by itself makes us more inclusive, forces us to be more inclusive of the people that we have joining our team. So it's something that we actively combat and something that we're actively aware of and trying to make a better place.
I'll say from a management perspective, we've got to make a better effort to reach out and recognize and promote and make safe environments for women when they do get there as well. We've got to make sure it's inclusive and engaging and they can be successful. So we have times when we bring them onto a new construction site or part of a new data center build, and we don't have some of the things that they need, just generally just PPE and protective gear, some things that just don't work for them. So there's a lot of things we have to do to make sure we're being inclusive and making you successful and helping you be successful. So, but from a technical perspective, some of the best technicians I've had have been women, and they solve problems differently. They think about things differently. So there's times when we'll be doing something very difficult, and I'll make sure that I have a woman on my project, because I know they're going to bring a different skill set, and it brings a richer conversation and a better way of troubleshooting. Sometimes it breaks down the testosterone of men thinking they can do things one way, and you can bring a different viewpoint and perspective in. So I can think back to probably 5 or 10 things of between shutting down data centers or building or doing different things, big projects we're doing that are through 2, 3, 4 years long of things we have to get done, and we've always brought a woman onto the team, and we have to be intentional. And I think asking for that and really reaching out and saying, I need to have somebody on my team who can solve this and be that, and a woman, fit the bill, then let's bring her on. So being intentional at the leadership level and being really clear about what we want to do to bring that diversity and bring an environment, but make sure it's a safe, protective, clear path to success for them to be successful. So. Any other questions?
This one might seem a little awkward, but any of you guys consider or be opposed to hiring somebody serving in the military reserves, considering you'd have to give them time off?
I think we have a couple employees who are actually reserves. Navy, don't know what else it was, but we have like around 8 to 9 ex-military members. 2 of them are reserves. So for them, it is a bit difficult to consider that they can be jumped right off work immediately, but it's very flexible for them since they have the experience already. Over the years, over the years they've been building up that experience, and they've been building up those networks. So when you come back right off. You're able to at least talk to someone, message someone who can get you right back into it right when you're right out.
So it's not that hard.
No.
No, not at all. I know we really love to have people in the military. It's one of the things that we hire a lot of Navy nukes that are really process driven. So we actually really, there's probably 40% of our company out of 1,200 people are in the Navy or have been in the service in some form, but a lot of them are still reserves and stuff. They go off the duty and we totally respect that. Their jobs are safe. We love that. We really support that. So that's not a problem at all. Good question. Any other questions? Yes. All right, let's see how I can get back there. There we go.
Okay, so this is actually a question from one of our online listeners. They want to know what a technician's like compensation would look like, if you can expect more like hourly pay or can you expect more salary pay?
Once you guys talk about that, then I'll jump in.
At Microsoft, we get hourly pay. I think once you get up to management level, it is salaried.
Yeah, I can add to that. Right now, I'm assuming like everybody else, we're hourly. Even the technicians above me are also hourly. I know a lot of clients that I work with are also hourly, and they get paid, I'd say, about maybe $70 to $80 an hour. And so, yeah, it's a really big jump.
And once you get to management, then you start to become more salary. And then you just work all the time.
The rate goes down significantly.
Yeah, it's based on the hours I work, so. Oh, sure.
Okay. So somebody wants to know, what specific advice would you give a college student looking to get into this field? Any opportunities to get involved in now? Like, what can they do while they're still in school to just kind of get a head start?
I'll take that first. So really internships. So we have an internship program we're spinning up through AFCOM. So I can give you guys the link for that. We're trying to get more people to come in, work over the summer. There's different types of programs where we're trying to get more tours and things at our data center so you can start to see what a data center looks like. We're trying to do more videos. So I would just say engage on some of the things that we're trying to get out, materials we're trying to get out. Keep an eye out for different tours we're doing, events we're having. We're just trying to get more publicity around that. But the internships is a way to actually start working in that. In addition to being a technician that comes in on the IT side and data center server side and doing what these folks are doing, we also have more electrical mechanical technicians that serve and support our electrical distribution and some other things on the other side of the house. So there's a lot of different ways to get in, and it's just a matter of finding what you like and where your skill sets lie, and just take an interest and reach out to us, and we'll see how we can get you involved in some of those programs and get you some information. Good question. Did you have a question? There you go.
This is a question for anyone who of you guys who people who may have had not a great idea of what you wanted to do when you got into the IT field. Now that you're at the level that you are, how much more solidified is the path forward for you versus what it was before you started?
Well, quick background story. I'd say around when I graduated high school, I think I wanted to do IT because I just love technology. I love messing with it. I love learning about it. And so I went to GCU, started the first semester or two there, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no idea why I was there. And so like the next year or so, I struggled a lot. I almost dropped out, but I considered community college instead, and I looked to GCC and their networking administration degree and their course, and I decided to transfer over. And when I came here, I think that really solidified what I really wanted to do, because it was a focus of IT, of networking specifically. And I think it's more leaning towards finding out what you want to do specifically, not just IT, but what in IT you want to do. There's a lot of different positions in IT, like cybersecurity, networking, and so for me, I think it's really important to just be involved in a lot of different things. Like Brian said, be involved in internships, be involved in talks like these to kind of get an idea of where you want to be.
And who was your favorite professor when you were here? Yeah.
I think that's an easy answer.
seems like a trick question. That's kind of putting you on the spot. Probably true, though.
So I guess I'll do a backstory too. I was a dental assistant for 4 years, which I think a lot of people might not think that translates to IT. But with dental assisting, a lot of our equipment is becoming digital. So like your x-rays are digital, your x-ray machines are getting smaller and portable. Your charting is digital now too. So the office I personally was at was a private office, and I was the youngest person in the office, and I was always having to troubleshoot all the problems, missing x-rays, the screen flipped, the server disconnected. So I was always having to troubleshoot those things. And I think it was the hygienist that kind of gave me the confidence to start thinking about doing IT. And so I looked into it at GCC, and I ended up finding the cybersecurity associate's degree interesting. So that's what I wanted to pursue, and I did. And by the time I graduated with that associate's, I realized that's not really what I want to do. Like, it's pretty cool, but like hacking is not my thing. Forensics is not my thing. So I finished the degree. I too found it very difficult. It was very challenging for me, and I wanted to stop as well. I wanted to quit, but I didn't, and I kept pushing. And then Mr. Benzik was the one who told me about the opportunity for the Microsoft Data Center Academy Scholarship. So I applied, and I ended up getting it. And in that scholarship, it is required to get, 2 CompTIA certifications. So by doing those and getting those under my belt, it kind of helped me see, okay, this is the kind of stuff I need to know. And I do quite like the hardware stuff, so that's kind of more what I gravitate towards, but I was not particularly fond of cybersecurity. And now working at a data center, I get to kind of learn about the hardware, the networking, and working with engineers, and kind of seeing a little bit of everything within a data center career. So it's not that I want to be in a data center technician position forever either, but it gives me an opportunity to get exposure to all the different kinds of things that run in a data center that maybe I might be more interested in the engineering. I've thought about that. Or there's even like higher networking positions that may not be within the data center, they're outside of the data center. So it's things like that I don't completely lose interest in what I'm doing now, because there's so many more different positions I could look into if I'm interested. Did you have anything? No? Okay.
What CompTIA certifications do you recommend starting to get first?
For sure your A+. That's kind of like your foundational skills. I ended up doing Network Plus, which has helped me out considerably. I think there's another one that they just came out with, Cloud Plus, I think. I'm not sure. That might be good. Or Server Plus.
Yeah, I think a cloud certificate could be helpful in the data center, because the cloud is a data center.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other questions? So what technical skills did you have when you started?
Well, it was 1992, and I was working on a 6509 with a Soup 720. Yeah, so it was a long time ago.
Working on a TRS-80.
It was a long time ago.
I'll tackle this one first, and I'll be very transparent with y'all. Prior to coming on board for my internship, I didn't have much technical experience or technical knowledge. I mean, I did what we probably all have done, played around on the computer, maybe hack some things, maybe not hack, but get some free in-game currency, of course. But that was pretty much my extent. I played video games. I knew how to configure a router and switch and get some connectivity going, but prior to working at Microsoft, that's all I had.
I know we kind of went over our backstory a little bit, but I had very little. I too liked to play around on the computer, learn new tricks with it or something, explore YouTube and see what I can learn to do. But other than that, that was all the experience I really had until, troubleshooting with dental assisting products like the x-rays, trying to find where they went, recover them, getting our servers to reconnect so that we can do our charting, even fixing printers. I was always fixing printers because they have minds of their own, and it's very frustrating. So I was always fixing that kind of stuff at work and at home too, setting up an office for my mother, things like that.
Oh yeah, just like everybody else, I had zero technical experience with anything. Really, the only thing I really dealt with was PCs. I used to always build PCs a few years ago. Routers and switches, I didn't even know what a switch was 2 years ago. And the only router I knew about was my Cox router that came along with it. But yeah, like no technical experience for me. And so for me to be able to delve into that, was life-changing. You know, being able to see these enterprise routers and switches at work, seeing all these servers and racks function. You know, it's a lot to take in, but it's a lot of experience that you can learn and you can get into.
And I hope a pattern is starting to form here with y'all too, that none of us really had a lot of experience going into these roles. These entry-level data center technician roles are places where you can start a career and you can learn the things that you need to learn and find out what you want to continue to learn. It's a great platform to start in, and you shouldn't be discouraged by applications telling you that you need this and this and this, because we're proof here that we didn't have all of those things, but our soft skills and our personalities were enough to get us into the door. So just keep that in mind and don't let those scary applications turn you away, please.
Hiring for. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we chase the degree. Please get the degree. It's a good point.
But you're hiring for attitude and aptitude.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I tell the story of a young man who was a security guard, and we knew he was a bright young man. He was at his security guard at the front desk, and we said, we need somebody we can just train to do something very simplistic for us. And we brought him over. He was making $13 an hour, got him $19 an hour. From there, he went to 23 6 months later, and now he's working in $35 an hour. Yeah. And he was the gentleman I just mentioned that came another night to roll those cables for us. So that's an example of finding people who are just bright, who have the energy, who are willing to learn, willing to grow. And that's a true story. All right, I think we got some questions online.
So one of our questions from our online listeners is for the Microsoft people. They want to know what are the job growth opportunities at Microsoft?
I can speak to this just because I heard this the other day from some of our management, but I believe we are currently at somewhere around 250 or so employees here in Phoenix, and within the next year or two, we expect to triple that number. So if that gives you any type of idea of how much we're hiring.
Yeah. So I'll just add on to that. In our industry, at my company, we're going to grow by another 500 people. So we're at 1,100 now. We're going to grow, and I think Cyrus One and some of these other companies are the same way. We need people. So that's why we're here. We need people to come in and fill the needs. AI is driving our industry. We've got data centers that we have to fill, and we're growing and adding more data centers daily. So there's so many things happening in the valley here. We're going to be the number 2 biggest data center market in the country. So that's happening really quickly. We need people.
And that isn't just IT people. I mean, they need, it isn't just IT people, just to keep that in perspective, right? Mm-hmm. Some, like out of that tripling, right? Some of them are IT, some of them are.
I would say the bulk. Yeah, the bulk of them are going to be data center technicians that do a variety of things within the data center space, but they're very much technical positions in different areas. So that's just give you some context. There's just a lot of positions like what Naeem and Issa have. Those are the main ones we're hiring for, data center technician positions, but also electrical mechanical technician positions. So 2 sides of the house. Question?
Just out of curiosity, for all of you, but it may apply for you guys. Like, if you guys wanted to get a Microsoft cloud certification, would they comp that for you guys, or would you still have to pay for it? Or for your company, if you wanted a specific certification, would they pay for it, or is that out of pocket for you?
Yeah, well, yeah, all of the Azure, Microsoft cloud certs are fully paid for us.
Yeah. Microsoft, so they better. Microsoft, yeah.
I can say the same for Cyrus One as well. Since they're more of the electrical, mechanical, more of the physical cabling type of stuff, they weren't really able to fund let's say a network administration position. But they did open that door for me to go into like a data center technician certificate. There's a lot of data center companies that teach you that kind of stuff, and so they do provide that ability to pay off for your courses. Yeah.
And we're starting a data center certificate program in Estrella and Mesa. So we're going to have a data center certificate program, 8-course data center. Sorry for the plug, Andrea, but I just want to get that out there. So
So those data center classes, some of the core classes are here too, just not the specific data center class. Will they pay for future education if you want to go get a bachelor's degree?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you
It's
talk
okay.
about that?
Yeah, I was actually going to add some more on that. So Microsoft also pays for all CompTIA certs. All of those are completely covered, and we get all of the study material that you would need for those certifications. And they do offer some assistance for other vendor certifications, like CCNA, for instance. They do offer some support there. But Microsoft also offers tuition reimbursement. So for your undergrad years, you get up to $10,000 a year back. So you just submit your passing grades to the company and they'll reimburse you that way. And I believe when you're in graduate, please don't quote me here, but I believe it's somewhere around $5,000 for graduate school.
So this is more directed to three of you guys and kind of goes back, but you guys mentioned in some shape or form that you guys were part of an internship before transitioning to a full-time position at a data center. I was wondering, how did you guys come across such opportunities, and what would be some of the advice or tips or even resources you guys could give for some of the students here about to graduate, or some of the others who are just really interested in trying to get their foot into the door?
Well, for me, it was a little different. I just got laid off from my previous position last year. I was an identity management technician at Maricopa College District, actually. I was an intern there for a year. And I was going to get laid off the next month, so I had a month to plan out, okay, what am I going to do next? Where am I going to go next? And so I've been looking at LinkedIn and just all the job application sites for positions, and I was fortunate to land on a position named AFCOM internship, and that was the internship that got me into where I am today. So I'd say definitely research, do a lot of research, but more importantly, I'd say get involved with sessions like this. Get involved with these type of sessions that can lead you to resources that are available for people that are interested in those internships.
I'm trying to think about my route after I had quit dental assisting to pursue school full time. I did end up working here at GCC for a few months in the IT department. So I was working like the help desk and doing kind of basic troubleshooting stuff. So that kind of got my toes a little bit wet, and it wasn't until Mr. Benzik had shared with me about the Microsoft Data Center Academy scholarship, and through that, it's like I can't remember if they say it's guaranteed, but you'll get the opportunity for an internship. You can do it towards the end of your degree, or you can do it after you've graduated. So for sure, looking for internship opportunities and participating here is also a great way.
Yeah.
Anybody that's in Nikki or I's class or any of the CNT classes, we have a whole scholarship page, which I will show you right here. So this information's in your Canvas class. Okay, so there's just general information about in-demand and high-paying careers in IT. There's different GCC scholarships. Right now there's a STEM Connect scholarship. Here's about the Microsoft Data Center scholarship. This information's in Canvas. It's been posted. I'm pretty sure it's in Nikki's class too. And then there's some for Arizona Career Pathways. That is also a program that's here in Arizona. And all of our computer programs are eligible for it. Okay, all of them, the CCNA, the CompTIA, there's scholarships for single moms, the Seroptimus, the Fresh Start for Women. So I have a bunch in here for women as well. There's all kinds of scholarships out there that can help you pay for school. And I'm not checking the mic. And then as far as internships go, I've been working with Jesse, but we're working on developing more internships. But please do not let not having an internship stop you from just applying for jobs. Okay. I mean, you may or may not get an internship. So you cannot base your career on being able to get an internship. You just can't do that, right? I would say there's more people working in IT who don't have internships than do. But we're working on developing a program that will offer more internships.
Yeah, and Adele, you came through the AFCOM internship, so we actually established it a couple years ago, which is our data center trade organization is the AFCOM internship, and that worked well for you. And that company that you went with actually hired you on, right? CyrusOne. Yeah. So that was a great way of getting in, if you can. But I think she's 100% right. Don't wait on that. I had a email this morning from someone at Mesa who said there's 5 people that want jobs in data centers now, and can they send me their resumes? I'm like, yeah. Don't wait. Like, if you see something you want, go out and look. And if you find a position, we're trying to bring people in who have experience, but you don't have to. Like, if you have some data center experience, that's great. But there's a program that we started out in Northern Virginia where it was just bringing high school kids in, which is really young to me, which sounds a little scary if I think back how I was when I was in high school, but I was not ready. So for me, I think it's just a matter of go ahead and apply. Don't be aggressive and find out. And if they say, well, we can't hire you on, say, is there an internship? Okay, you can't hire me on for an internship? Okay, is there a, come lunch and learn you have? And sometimes just ask and find out, because we're all looking for students. We're all looking for young people to come in. We want to get people into our data centers. We need people. So just be persistent and reach out and don't wait for an internship.
And don't underestimate the schooling that you're getting. Not every community college, not every university has equipment like what we have at Estrella, at GCC, at Mesa. Like, ASU doesn't have a lab like this, right? So don't underestimate the hands-on experience that you're getting through school, and learn how to capitalize on that on your resume, right? Learn how to put that on your resume to highlight it.
Great. You have a question?
Are there any classes offered here that I could take for, like, say, CompTIA or anything? Like A plus?
All of them.
You take a lot of those classes here. And that's why we're here, because those are classes that are foundational for us. Like I said, there's plenty of people we bring on that are, and the CCNA, yeah. So just as he had, yep. All right, perfect. A question in the back. Here you go.
If you're getting a CCNA, you don't need an MS. It's a higher level certificate.
What would you say is the thing that you were least prepared for when you first started in your position?
That's a good question.
Or what's the hardest thing that you had to learn? Either one.
I guess this more pertains to like being at Microsoft, but having to change my mindset about how I go about my day, how I interact with people. I guess our motto is more like assume positive intent with things. So it's very different coming from workplaces that are pretty negative, you know? Right. So I think it doesn't necessarily pertain to IT, but I guess in the Microsoft culture, that was something I really had to learn how to change the way I think. I'm still learning it. It's a lot of us are. But I guess if we're talking IT too, I think I had a lot of imposter syndrome. Being in a male-dominated field, I felt really outnumbered, and I didn't feel like necessarily I think the same way or I'm on the same level, and that's not true at all. I interact with my team a lot, and we're very supportive, very encouraging, and I'm just limiting myself by having the imposter syndrome. So by taking on things that I'm afraid to do, like maybe I remember the first thing I was doing was like taking apart a server to do a no post investigation, and I was really nervous about remembering to putting things back correctly and not breaking stuff. So just going forward with the mindset of I can do it. There's nothing stopping me. So changing my mindset is really what's been the biggest challenge, I guess.
So for me, the hardest thing was learning all the processes to do the tickets and fix the things that are broken. You know, we come from no experience, or I came from no experience, so learning the proper ways to troubleshoot and figure out and isolate root issues was the hardest part for me. After you learn the process, or at least how to think and how to come about what the issue could be with these devices, that is probably the hardest part from my experience.
Just like these two have said, communication also is a big factor. There's a lot of clients that come from different backgrounds. Sometimes we work with customers that have their headquarters in India, or we have people that come from different countries. And so there's just, sometimes a barrier that we have to somehow adapt to. But communication is huge. Owning up to mistakes, telling someone, hey, I need help with this. I need your assistance with this. Not being shy in that certain aspect. And I also think being responsible, because you're in a data center environment, and being in a data center environment is very important because you can accidentally pull off a cable from like a customer's racks, and that could cost them millions of dollars. And so you just have to be responsible and realize that your job is very serious and that you can impact others as well.
I'll just say from a management perspective, what we need to do too is make sure we put you in environments where you can have mentors. You can have people in a safe space to make mistakes. There's times I'll tell my team, I'll say, listen, this is a project like the one we just talked about the other night. We put the right team members around this individual. We made it an environment where we didn't have the pressures of having live customers. We actually had a test environment to work off of. So understanding that someone's new in an environment and give them space to learn and grow and make mistakes. And I told Zach the other day, hey, it's okay if you fall and skin your knee. This is a test environment that we're going to demo it on and work through the issues, learn and grow in that environment. We're going to put you with the right project managers, the right network technicians. We're going to put you with the right optical guys. We're going to make sure we're successful. So it takes management understanding those things too, and not just taking people and throwing them out there. Putting them in the right environment to be successful is so important.
And did you all hear that? A test environment? Does that sound familiar? Like our skills project where I want you to build it before you build it? Okay, sorry, I just had to jig there for a second.
Touch the nerve there. You don't have to use your mic if you feel good about it.
Yeah, no, use the mic so people
Oh,
can hear.
that's right. There's people, I'm sorry. There's people on.
Okay. On average, you guys talked about your teams, about how many people are on your team. That's number one. And then number two, what is about the age range of your colleagues right now?
Is everybody okay if we go over a little? Okay, thank you. And are you all okay if we go over?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm free. Yeah, I'm free.
Okay.
So specifically in my team at my company, we have a team of 12 people. I think we're a bit understaffed compared to the other teams. I know facilities has over like 30 people, 30 employees, and so we're a bit overstaffed. We try our best to cover one another when one takes vacation or when someone gets sick, and we try to cover those positions. But the age gap, I think, is a very interesting point, because I'm the youngest one there, and I'm 24. And I also heard over there at Data Center World a lot of good points about the age gap. I don't know if you remember.
Why'd you ask me? What are you looking for?
You were there, that's why I'm asking. But I remember someone saying that he was the youngest one in their group, and he was 42. And so the age gap is really big. I think we're getting to the point where a lot of people are going to start retiring, getting away from the data center industry, and we need new people. We need fresh minds in there.
My team size is about the same. I think we have maybe 11 people, and just like IDO, we are severely understaffed. We need more people. Our team, I believe, is expected to be around 18 to 20 people. So just kind of show you a more narrow scope of what we're trying to acquire. But there's myself, I'm 25. There's another 25-year-old and a 19. Other than that, everybody is mid-30s to 40s, if that gives you a good range.
My teams, I can have projects that we'll do, which will be a variety of different types of data center connectivity, technology-related projects. We'll do big router replacements. We'll do data center shutdowns. We'll do big projects overseas or internationally. And we'll have 30, 40 people. So I'll have project managers, I'll have, process people, I'll have documentation people, I'll have Cisco folks, I'll have Juniper, I'll have it depends on what we're doing. So I can have people we don't really hire a lot of the Cisco folks. The folks that come into my team are a little bit further and more seasoned, so they're probably in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. So that's the folks that do more optical networking. We're working on bigger line systems, fiber line systems, doing a lot of very complex things. So the more of the junior technicians are a little younger, and they work in the OSC, then first level support. But for us, we'll do big projects, and I'll have 25, 30 people on a call on my lines and from 10 different countries, and we'll just be doing a project. But it could be 2-3 years that we're doing and working on something.
I kind of just thought of this right now, but do you work with ISPs, or do ISPs have their own data centers?
We do work with a lot of ISPs. Me specifically, I don't, because I work more with the shipping and receiving side, but a lot of our Tech 2s do one-on-ones with ISPs. They open circuits, they do DCOMs, and they just do a lot of hands-on with a lot of ISPs.
My team does all of the connectivity work, so all the ISPs. So it'll be dark fiber, lit services, it'll be IP transit, does all those types of different services that we bring in for the carriers. We'll bring those in for customers, or we'll bring them in for our use, and then we productize a lot of that stuff too. So there's times when you'll get involved at a different level, not just bringing on and turning up circuits, but you may bundle, productize those, and manage and work with that in addition to troubleshooting. So we do all that. The internet lives in data centers. That's what it is, the cloud and all those pieces. So all we do is a sea of connectivity between cross connects, between cabinets in different places, as well as outside the four walls and going out to our, getting out to the internet and other places.
Walk all the way over here. You're like going back and forth. But I was offered a scholarship from Microsoft themselves, and they also, thank you. Also, super good if you guys should look into it as well. But I was also wondering, because it is a requirement to work towards a CompTIA certification. I wanted to I want to know how to build the confidence to know, like, oh, I got this right before you start taking the certification. What type of resources do you guys recommend also to get ready for that?
Yeah, so I guess I recommend, what I ended up doing was I did take, I think it was like a study group for A+ here. I took for, yeah. So that class actually taught me a lot of studying skills, because I'm not big on studying. That's just who I am. So they introduced me to, it's a test simulation service called Boson. And that test simulation service is awesome. It can do like a practice run through, or it can actually simulate what the test will be like. It's not exact, because it can't be exact, but once you finish taking that simulation, it'll break down where exactly you're weakest. And then that way I can focus more on what I'm weakest, so I can do more of like flashcards. I can watch Professor Messer videos or anything like that, and just kind of work that up instead of focusing on it as a whole. I can just pick where I'm weakest and get stronger there. So that's what I did.
And I just want to add here that the golden rule for cert exams is take the practice one 3 times. When you score 95% or above on all 3, that's like the golden rule for certs. Oh, yeah.
I got it. It's my job.
Okay, so this is also in your Canvas class, all right? And also I want to say Microsoft Cert will pay for your CCNA too, okay? CompTIA and the CCNA, the Microsoft scholarship will pay for. Okay, so this summer we're running BPC 170 and 270 for A+. We have a Cisco class. The Cisco class is accelerated. We have BPC 275, which is the one that Isa is talking about, and that is a test prep where we use Boson. We also have that for the Cisco classes. And the Cisco classes at CNT171, any 140, 150, 160, or 205 student can take it. and it'll start to prepare you for the exams. So thank you for that. I think that is a really good way. And Professor Messer for A+. And frankly, Professor Messer for Network Plus. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Watch those videos.
So I took my certification a long time ago. We got that. So it was back in right before 2001. I took it. I didn't pass my certification by 2 points. I studied real hard that next night, came back the next day. And it was so important. That led me to be a tech for a long time. And like I talked about the 7609s and the 6509s that I worked on, that was in my 20s, and then grew into management. So I credit a lot of the things where I'm at right now. I'm vice president, been that for a lot of years. The things I'm doing now, I credit with building confidence and getting my certification. To take those steps, because it makes a difference. And you may know it all, but take the certification and get this past the cert. It's so important. It's something that we see when we look at people, look at your application, and we look online, and we want to see that certification. It just checks the box. And there's probably somebody you're competing against that didn't get the cert, and you're going to beat out them if everything else is equal. So go do and take the certification. It's really worth it, and it shows well that you completed something. Not just you have an associate degree, but you took the certification. It means something. So I think people look at it and go, well, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. So don't do all this work and not take the cert. It's really worth it. And we see that at the, the hiring side, and we may have a requirement that we only want people who have a cert, and that weeds people out, because when you go apply for jobs, there'll be 100, 200 people applying for jobs. So you've got to make sure you're positioning yourself the best way you can. So don't be afraid to take that certification. It's worth it. Do the work and take the cert.
And if you go in the field of IT, you have to take certs. And chances are you're going to fail a certification exam. And just accept that. It's not a big deal. It's no reflection of whether or not you're going to do good in the job or not. And the best thing about failing a certification exam is the likelihood that you're going to pass it the next time goes up exponentially. I mean, it's just part of being in the field of IT. So one way to build your confidence is, go fail one. You got that one done, and you can move on to the next. I really don't know anybody. I don't think, well, one guy. There is one person I know. But other than that, I mean, there's one guy. Yeah.
So, any other questions? Yes.
So it's same for the Microsoft tuition program that you need to have be enrolled in a four-year college. Is that true?
For the data center, for the data center academy.
Yeah, Data Center Academy.
No, we're partnered with GCC and EMCC. So all you have to do is be a student that's enrolled here in one of the technology majors.
It's a great program. So we actually highlighted that in, February. We actually had an event. I saw a few of you come out to that, and it was a great way. Microsoft flew down, and we actually talked about the data center they have and the program they're doing, giving scholarships, giving opportunities, and they're not looking for you to just work at Microsoft. You can go work anywhere. They're wanting to put people into the industry. It's their way. They built a data center here, and it's their way of giving back to the community. So they give servers, and they give scholarships. That's something that Microsoft is doing for the community. So we're benefiting at QTS and CyrusOne from the things they're doing of training data center technicians. So when we had that event in February, we had a panel discussion. Naeem was on it, and we talked about it along with some other folks. And Microsoft showed up, and we just talked about the industry and how we need people and how we're growing and how they're thinking about it. So it's a great opportunity. If you can, you want to be a part of that, I would definitely look into it. I think it's an amazing certification to get, and it's just something there that is going to get you further faster. And then Microsoft's a great brand. Think about going from there. There's a lot of things you can do from going to other places. Add about soft skills. Yes. Yeah, soft skills. So in addition to having technical skills, one of the things, and Naomi will touch on this as well, but one of the things that we find is really, really important is being able to have soft skills, communicate, being able to articulate yourself, being able to clearly open up and talk in an interview process, being a good communicator, being somebody who has got emotional intelligence. Those are so important. We've got folks that are struggling to advance in their careers because they don't have good soft skills, can't communicate effectively, just don't have those things. And I see Issa shaking her head. It's so important. We can teach you the technical skills. We really can. If you come with a good aptitude and good base of skills, that's great. But you really have to have good communication skills. I can't tell you how many times I get on interviews and you see people just struggle to communicate, to articulate, to be able to talk about the things what they've done, to understand and connect with people. And if you can't do that, you're not going to work well, and people aren't going to want to hire you. So in addition to these things, you've got to be able to communicate. You've got to have great soft skills.
Yeah, and it's really important. It's one of those things that you might not even notice when you're going about your day. It's like people, you can't connect to people. People don't seem to gravitate towards you, and that's a pretty good indication that your soft skills need some work. People will mentally disconnect before they say anything physically to you. So it's one of those things that's really important but doesn't get talked about enough. So yes, soft skills, very important. Please learn how to work with people, collaborate with people. And I say make people feel special. That's another important part about it.
I'm trying to, I'm like, no, you pretty much covered it. I do agree it's very important. It's very hard to work together as a team when you don't know how to work together and like even try to work together. So even like the mentality of going into collaborations like that, you want to assume positive intent, and we're trying to reach the same goal. So we need to learn how to communicate with one another to get there. So it's very important.
And what I would say too is it's not just getting a job, having soft skills to get the job. You need soft skills to keep the job. Because there's times where we've had people we've hired on and we go, that guy can't work with anybody. He's difficult to work with. He doesn't communicate well. He can't articulate a vision of what we're trying to accomplish. You get him on a project and he doesn't want to communicate. He wants to do a cowboy. He wants to do it all himself. He's doing everything his own. That's not going to work, and we'll end up firing you. So there's things you have to understand. It's not just getting a job, it's maintaining and staying in a job and having a successful career. It's not just about you getting something, it's about maintaining it.
Yeah, just to add to that, I mean, I used to consider myself as an introvert. I didn't really like to talk to people, didn't really like to express myself, but being in this industry, I was able to get out there. You know, I meet with so many clients every day, and all it takes is saying hi, you know, how's your day going? How have you been?
Tell them how we met.
Oh, so
that sounds like a dating thing, but yeah, really. He's married, I'm married, we're good.
Yeah, we
we're
were
good.
just at an AFCOM event. I just picked up my dinner, and I was like, okay, where do I sit? I'm going to sit with this gentleman right here. And then that's when this what all started.
We started talking. Him and his wife sat down across from us at an AFCOM event, and we just started talking. And next thing you know, we just really hit it off. Found you were Cyrus One, and we've been connected ever since. And I've been talking to you about all these things. You're part of the group. We got you at iMasons now. He shows up in Washington D.C. last week. We pulled a mic out and let you talk. It's amazing what you've done. Just seeing you from when we met back in December, and I'm so excited about the things you're going to do and grow. And he was much more quiet back then, and you could see him coming out of his shell and becoming more confident. And that's what we want. So we're not looking for you to be perfect. We just look for you to make connections, be open and learn and communicate, and be able to recognize that, hey, it's all a journey, but one of the most important pieces is be able to communicate and work with people is so important. It's underrated. We can teach you the technical skills, but it's just if you can't work with people, you're not going to last in any industry, much less IT.
Okay, so well, I think.
Question? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what I was going to say is
Give me
that
the mic.
Bob spoke about the iMasons.
Yes.
And is there a membership that comes with that, or can the students become involved with iMason?
So the students, great questions, yeah. So the students can be involved. iMasons is our trade organization. So the data center trade organization is called iMasons. And we also have AFCOM. So those are organizations that we have meetings, we have events, we do different things. We just talked about going out to Washington, D.C. for our national convention. So there's just things that'll get you into the industry, help you understand what we're doing. Jobs get posted, understanding who you need as a mentor. And that was one of the things we talked about, mentorship for young folks, getting a mentor, getting somebody who can help you go further faster. I wish I would have had a mentor when I was in my 20s and 30s that helped me, and I could have got there quicker. So we can help guide you in certain ways. So just get involved, get to the internships, events, things we do are going to help you get further faster.
So to go on that also, is there a women's iMasons?
There is. So we have iMasons for women. So it's part of the organization. We actually have that. So it's a great way. Oh, sorry. It's a great way for you to get involved and really help to build that community of women who can actually help them, further the cause, be out there to provide mentorship for each other. So it's a great organization. So I would definitely say join.
think that you have a free student one.
They may, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
students can join for free, yeah.
Yeah. And for us,
I'll look into
these three great individuals have joined and been involved, and I think you guys have been on this panel, but also we're going to be getting you on more. I know Naeem has just gotten drafted into this, so I think my wife wants him to marry our daughter, but that's another story. So we'll see. We'll figure that out later. So it's a little pressure. Well, listen, she's getting old, and we got to get her. You know, we got to get this moving here. So we'll see. So, but they have been on calls. We host my calls every month, every second Monday, but it's a great way for you to just meet other people in the network, in the industry. And I think what you have to understand is, listen, I know we all say we're going to be at a company for 30 years. That just doesn't happen anymore. So for you guys, it's finding new people that are in the industry that you can network with. And that is one of the things I wish I would have knew when I was in my 20s. Network with people. The people that are going to get you jobs are going to be people, not mainly from the postings, from you knowing people, right? It's me writing a recommendation to the data center companies to another vice president. That's what gets the jobs, right? We see jobs that aren't even posted. So you got to find and make your network larger, and that's what these guys are doing. Naeem sits on a call with 5 or 6 other data center companies in the Valley, and he's on with executives with me, and we bring him to these conversations. So he's meeting all these other executives. All of us have jobs. If he wanted to, we can pick up the phone and he would have a job in no time. So there's things you're creating, build your network around people who can help you. And there's nothing wrong with that. So every one of you, when I spoke last time, about 30 of you connected with me on LinkedIn, and I expect the same thing. You should be connected with me because I post jobs on there. So you should be able to see the things I'm posting and talking about if this is the type of stuff you're interested in. But you're going to find that it's not about, just, you having the skills. You've got to know people. You've got to have connections that can help you get further faster.
For those who aren't active in their careers right now or just getting started, could you go into a little bit more detail of what you mean when you say networking? And
sure, absolutely. So a lot of it is really just getting to know people in the areas that you want to be in. So getting to know people. If you're in IT and you want to be in IT, then get to know people in IT. If you want to be in networking, learn other and meet other network engineers, meet other people in the industry because they're going to know and they're going to help you understand things. So you may find that there's a mentors group. So you may have somebody who's working on something or doing a project that you may learn from. You may find that there's other events, there's new technologies come out. Learn things and work with people that are going to help you get you where you want to get to, where they are, right? So finding people that are doing what you want to do. What is it you want to do? I'm sorry, I think we met before. Go ahead.
I'm a vulnerability assessment analyst. I'm not quite sure where I want to go right now. I'm
Okay.
thinking about maybe getting my CISSP and going into an ISO role.
Okay. Yeah, so find other people who are doing what you want to do. Go out on LinkedIn. Find other people that are in that group. There's probably a group around that. There's probably events around that. Find other people and go network with them and meet them. And I think being intentional about finding people who are in the places where you want to get to. And I wish I would have done that in my 30s. I think it was seen as being unauthentic. But for now, I get people who reach out to me all the time and just want to network and say, hey, I want to join your network and connect. And a lot of you did this. I know you did. I know you've come to multiple events. You should. Because I'm going to know you. And when you say I applied for a position, I can talk to somebody in HR on your behalf. So you find ways in which you can get further faster, right? When there's 200 people applying for a job, if you know me, I'm going to reach out to the hiring manager for you on my behalf. And I've done that. So find ways of getting people who are doing what you want to do and where you want to be at the company you want to be at. If you want to work at Microsoft, you got 2 people right here. You should have already connected with them on LinkedIn. You should have already. But if you haven't, do that. Because you have somebody now. So when they post something or see something, you'll be able to know what's going on. Like you guys have the advantage of technology I didn't have when I was in my 30s. We didn't have all this stuff. But you could reach out and have a virtual coffee with somebody. I get that all the time. People say, well, what if this data center thing, can you spend a half hour with me? And I do. And we talk about it. We did that walking up. I didn't even know who you were. You got out of the car and so did I. And next thing you know, you got my LinkedIn. And we said we'd have a virtual coffee because I'm willing to give my time to help talk about my industry that I'm really passionate about. So for your industry, let's find who's out there. Reach out to people, make the introduction, say, hey, I'm thinking about this. What can you tell me? People love to talk about their industry. People love to talk about themselves and what they're doing and what they're about. And you'll find that's really valuable for you to get further faster. hopefully that helps. Questions?
So I think we'll take any last questions and we'll wrap it up. And then maybe if we do this again, maybe we can talk more about like technical aspects of your job, right? Because like I have some of that, so maybe that would be like another segue, just talk tech.
I would love to.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Maybe an idea. Any other last minute questions? And our next one is actually in July. We have it scheduled. So we're not doing one in May or June, just because the way summer is. But we will be doing one in July, and so I'll send out an email to everybody. And it'll be in this room, I believe. It'll be in this building.
Okay.
And it'll be the last Wednesday of July.
And then we'll pick back up in August and keep going.
Yeah, and then we pick back up in August, and we'll go through like the last week of each month, like we have been.
And if there's topics or something you think
Yeah,
we want to talk about,
please.
bring them up to her. We can bring in other industry experts. We can bring Cisco folks in. We're doing a huge project here on 40th and McDowell, and when some of my optical engineers come in,
Yeah, we
you'll
really-
love those guys.
Yeah.
They are hardcore. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to bring George and Kevin and those guys in. They're great to talk about just significant things they're working on. But if there's something special you guys want to see or talk about, happy to.
Maybe
bring
they
that
could
in.
bring in like an OTDR and show us some testing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be
They would love
really
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because we don't have access to those types of resources here, but again, a show and tell would be,
Yeah.
I think, interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that'd be nice.
OTDR is like a testing equipment for fiber optic, so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we should do that.
It'd be really interesting.
Okay. Any last minute questions?
Do we have time for any final comments or suggestions
do.
from this group? Okay, and I won't go first. I'm gonna let
Yeah,
Naeem
we
go
do
first.
have
What would you want to leave based upon the conversation? What do you want to leave for today?
Kind of a shameless plug here, but careers.microsoft.com. Go check it out, please. It is a shameless plug.
What was the plug?
careers.microsoft.com.
Yeah, he wants his team to be bigger.
Please, yeah. You get to see the pay ranges. We're very transparent about our pay. But yes, please go apply regardless of how you feel you fit the qualifications. I would love to see you all around.
And Naeem, that was actually a question that came through. What is the pay rate? What could a starting salary at the data center be? Approximately. You don't have to give us the exact, but
I would say anywhere from 30 to 50 bucks.
okay, an hour.
General pay range.
Okay. So that's solid.
Yeah, not bad.
It's very solid. And that's starting, well, I won't say it's starting, but that's a maybe mid-range, and then
Yeah.
there's always opportunities to grow, right? So it's, you see that grows quickly, so it's the right place. Yes, you're smiling, you're right, that's a great salary, isn't it?
It's not bad, man. All your worries.
Jose? There you go. Oh, Jose is excited now, he's like $50.
Let me talk more about this, right? No, it's fine. But I wanted to know if you guys have any open internships at the moment at Microsoft, given that, I mean, I guess a scholarship is kind of leading me into that, and I.
Scholarship leads you to an internship
Well,
with Microsoft.
Yeah, that's how Naeem came through. There's a person that will connect you as you start to work through the process, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, so you're on the right path. So you're doing the right thing. Just keep doing what you're doing, and they'll meet you.
Yeah.
Because they see where you're going. So keep taking the classes, do well, and then somebody will reach out to you about where you're going to be and what internship you'll get.
And if I can add one
Sure.
more thing, also reach out to your professors. Thank you, Lisa. Your college staff has a lot of this information as well. You know, Microsoft works, directly with them. So if you have questions or you maybe want to expedite the process, go talk to your professors. Go talk to the dean of IT here. They may be able to provide some answers for you as well.
Is anybody else on the same path? Is anybody else in the Microsoft? You are? Oh, good. Great. Good for you. Anybody else? That's great. What do you want to do? You've come to a couple events and you've reached out a few times.
Yeah, good guy.
He is. He really is. You're assertive. I can see you. You're going to get a job. You want to work tonight?
Say yes.
Router shutdown. You're doing. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, nighttime shift, the $50 plus
Hey,
25. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. Do it now. All right, you're gonna go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yep.
I'm going more of the road Naeem went to, so I want to see actually my goal after I get my associates is try to get an entry job and then from there grow into what I want to do after with cybersecurity.
Which is what? What do you want to do?
Cybersecurity.
Oh, cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good news. that's what you mean, Naeem, because you're going to University of Arizona, right?
Yes.
Okay.
as well, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And that same program is what you're talking about.
Definitely,
What's it
yeah.
called?
ICCAE,
Okay, and that's the FBI program or whatever.
intelligence. So essentially NASA, CIA.
Yeah.
Nothing, right?
Oh, wow.
Everyday stuff. Great job. Yeah. We'll keep coming to the events. All right.
Okay, Isa, what are your parting comments?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I took the mic from you.
I guess I would want to reach out to more women. You know, just keep it as an option. There are many different places you can go with just IT or computer sciences. Data center isn't the only thing, but it is growing here, and don't feel like that imposter syndrome. You do bring a lot to the table. You bring a different perspective, different skills, and we need to see more of it, honestly. So that's my party message.
All I have to say is be comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's what I always tell myself. Get yourself wet with things that you don't really like or you really don't really know about. And that's really what led me to where I am today. I mean, I looked into things that I didn't think I'd like, but, you know, it's just things that you have to consider.
I don't know. I got so many. So don't be afraid to try new things. Be bold, right? You guys are at a place in your life where you can try different things, but you're in the right area. We're in the right field. If it's not in data centers, if it's in IT, it's still good. It's still an opportunity, but don't be afraid. Like, there's so many opportunities out there, and we need people in data centers specifically. So that's where I'm going to pitch for. I'm not going to do like Naeem and throw out the website or anything, but it's a good website. It's a very good website. But for us, it's just we really want to see people come in. It's amazing what can happen when you just let yourself learn and grow and be open to things. And it's amazing. And that's what I've done in my career, and it's been just an amazing ride for me. And the things I've done, I never thought I would do before. The money I've made, I never thought I would make. And opportunities I've seen, I've never thought I would see. So just be open to trying different things, being open to reach out and try to live a different life and maybe think about things a little differently.
All right, thank you.
Well said. I'll take $5, please.
Seriously, so good. Really, thank you for coming.
There we go.
Thank you
Let
for
me get a
hosting
picture
this.
real quick. Good deal. All right, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for
All right,
coming
thank
in,
you.
hanging out with us. It's been a pleasure as always.
Yep, appreciate it. Okay, I'll see you when I log in tonight.
So
Awesome.
Microsoft Scholars, I say, don't ask about that.
Yeah.
Wrong way. Okay. Yeah, she has a book. Yep, she has a book on data centers. So reach out to her and you can buy the book on Amazon. I'm going to have her speak. We're also going to have a data center, intro to data center class at Estrella and Mesa. And if, I don't know if you can take classes there or not if you're interested, but that's another way of finding out more about the industry. All right. Awesome. Thank you. What's your name? Aiden. Nice to meet you, Aiden. Great question. You're in the military? I want to. Okay. And you can still do that and be in the data center. We have tons of guys in the military. Tons of guys. So literally, we love Navy dudes. We love those guys. They're very process driven, so that's why we like them.
Actually, I tried to join a few years ago, but I couldn't make it.
Okay.
Might have a shot.
Hey, what branch?
National Guard.
National Guard, okay. Best of luck to you. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Awesome. Yeah, Brian Darby.
I was so surprised on Derby just realized. I know we were together. What about do you still consider your pretty close with Alberto?
No, I haven't, but I want to reach out to him. I think it'd be pretty cool if he gets involved in this match. Oh, yeah.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. You too. Have a great day.
Yeah, man, I mean, I'm right here, or as the year goes, the same as you, or I know.
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you,
Yeah.
man.
Did you enjoy that? Was that helpful?
Yeah, it was
Okay,
good.
good.
I really enjoyed it.
Good.
I just want to let you know too. I potentially have a job. Yeah, desktop support.
Oh, nice. Where at?
It's an accounting firm. Clifton Larson Allen. No, I know. It's like gonna be basically like Windows kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like the pay is nice. Like
Hey, it's great.
remote.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I was like, that's crazy. It's just it happened because I know somebody.
There you go. It's network.
Yeah.
Right? It's connection.
Right. And like Yeah, so I just, yeah, and
Did we connect on LinkedIn?
I did. I do have
You
your.
did the first night. Awesome.
Yeah,
Keep up with me. I post stuff all the time. If you ever want to change your thing, let me know. Other than that, that's awesome. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, bro, appreciate it.
Have a good night. You too. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Tyler, nice to meet you, Tyler. Oh, I'm sorry. That's AFCOM. Oh, I'm sorry, for goats. D-R-Y, Darby, D-A-R-B-Y.
But yeah, that's awesome.
How are you? What's your name? Philip. Nice to meet you, Philip. You're a student here? You work here? Okay, good. Oh, nice. We have tours a couple times a year, so next time we have one, connect with me on LinkedIn, and the next time we have one, we'll get you in. Okay. All right? Yeah, that's me, right there, Brian Darby, so you'll get me there. Do you have your phone? Here, just do this. Anybody who wants to just connect, you can just do that, that. Yeah, that's me. Yep, there you go. You got me. Good deal. Just take it. There you go. Or just a scan. There you go. Perfect. Maybe with your camera. There you go. It's an easy way of doing it. Perfect. Yeah, just